think we made it. All right. We're back. Back again. This music seems so loud, but it doesn't look like it. Anyway, kind of impromptu. Not really, just decided to do it. It's something we've already done before, and I thought, hey, why not keep it going? So, probably won't be getting a lot of feedback today, or participation, because it was very spur of the moment, but here's hoping. So, we did Wire Sponge last time, and Morph Moth, and we had some really cool ideas. Oh, we designed them. There's Petor. Yeah, man. So Morph Moth was kind of I don't know. We had some cool ideas. Y'all had some really cool ideas, but Morph Moth himself from the game was kind of a dud because he didn't do much. So we were kind of struggling. Wire Sponge came out super good, I thought. He was really cool, especially with the setting he was in. Mostly listening, that's all right. And there's that prehistoric vending machine. So I'm gonna leave Morph Moth where he's at. So what I did this time was I just went down the list. I started with Overdrive Ostrich, and then I rolled up the setting, the little roll table we had made to do that, and got some notes ahead of time so it wouldn't be kind of flubbering through this. That way I have something to start with at least. But, you know, obviously if you guys have better ideas, we throw them in there. But this way we actually have something to do. So I had thoughts for Overdrive Ostrich here and Wheelgator. And I will say, Wheelgator's kind of a stupid design. Because, I mean, he's cool, he's a gator, but like why they called him Wheelgator and made that part of his design was, I don't know. I thought it was silly because when you beat him, you get the saw blade that's a wheel, and right, it's something he can do, but it's like just one of his attacks, whereas Overdrive Ostrich has this blade thing he can shoot out. But that's just such a small part of him. They didn't name him after that and like try and make that his thing. So I don't know. He was kind of a booger to work with, but I got there. He's also a very boring boss to fight in the game, especially if you have his weakness, because you hit him and he goes down in the water and hides, and you just have to wait. And, okay, all right, rinse and repeat. His level's cool though. It's a giant dinosaur assault vehicle just terrorizing the city. So anyway, let's duplicate this guy here. We kind of got some kind of format going on here. Not that it really means anything. Boy, I can type. Thing. Doop, 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 doop. All right. Just leave that there. And there's the other one. All right. So let's take Mr. Overdrive Ostrich and put him in the back. There we go. And I think, let's see, Overdrive Ostrich. I rolled up Steampunk for him. Named after one time they had yeah, so he's in the steampunk setting. That's what I rolled up for him. So let's see. Let's put our notes over here. Steampunk. And usually when I think of steampunk, I think of like that Victorian era-esque kind of design, look, aesthetic. That's the word I'm going for. You know, very fancy dresses, top hats, and all that stuff. And I feel like that's fairly normal. Is this different software from? No, we're still in PowerPoint. Matter of fact, I meant to turn this off since the nature window is very dirty today. We had a bunch of rain and all the snow is getting melted. Can't see nothing in it. There's nothing out there anyway. Nope, this is PowerPoint. Though if you, well, no, I was with Dave last stream I was in. I don't know what my last stream was. My last stream was a game, and then before that was an interview, and we had Excalidraw up. So I'm just trying PowerPoint for this little monster making thing, so I can like have something to somewhat easily export to and share with y'all when it's done. But Excalidraw is normally what I use because it's very easy to just drop stuff in, and you can share it with other people. Like they can get in there and mark up and drop things in there too, and it's just the infinite board space. So, just trying different things. Steampunk is usually Victorian, yeah, not exclusive to it, but yeah. Yep, I feel like that's the norm. So that's what I was thinking. Scratching this PowerPoint. Hey man, you gotta use what you know, right? Which is funny because I barely knew PowerPoint before I started YouTube. Just made a joke and we kept running with it. So I'm thinking, I lost my mouse. Steampunk, that kind of aesthetic we were talking about. What's going on in this world that he's in. So I feel like things are pretty good. Industry is good. Peaceful times, blah, 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 blah. Everybody seems to be getting along. And so let me put that. Industry is good. No current wars, good times. There we go. But there was a war before, and I think that is where they discovered steam power. Like that is the war is what gave birth to the new technology, right? And they learned, maybe they had very basics, and then they learned how to make super advanced steam machines. And I think, let's see, because in the game, Overdrive Ostrich is normally out in the middle of the desert, and it's an old missile base that has been abandoned. And you actually like, ride a missile at the very end and blow it up to get to him. So I'm thinking, instead of the missile base, there's an old... I started with a mech factory. I was like, no mechs. Just, this is where they started making some really advanced steam machines for war, like war-based steam machines. And Overdrive Ostrich was like the first and maybe the only autonomous steam machine. Like he was a prototype, and then war kind of came to a close around that time, so they shut down that facility. And in the game, let's see, can I pull this up? I think I have it right here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to zoom in so y'all can see some of this. Get rid of that. Okay, yeah, so abandoned missile base, and then there was the large machine manufacturing sandstorm. I was kind of hoping for a picture of it. Don't have it. Nope. All right, so somewhere during that level, you come across a giant machine just making a big old sandstorm. So I want to take that. Maybe either Overdrive Ostrich himself made it, or the people that abandoned the factory made it, and it was to mask this factory and just kind of bury it and hide it and keep other people from getting to it. So that's something for the players to overcome, right? And I was very surprised. I had no idea when I was looking at this. There's only 3 bad guys in his stage. There's these little scorpion things, these little wheelie dudes, and then when you're on the motorcycle hover bike thing, you have to deal with these guys. Like, that's it. What? Only 3 different bad guys? Or 3 types? I was running the level through my head, and I was like, yeah, wow, okay. Color me surprised. So anyway, we can have things like this that the players have to deal with, but these are not the autonomous ones. These just kind of, I guess they would be semi-autonomous, right? Because they're doing things, but like they can't think. They just have pre-programmed things they're doing, but all steam-powered because, of course. And a steam-powered scorpion machine would be very cool looking, but I don't have one. So that's something you got to deal with. He's the prototype, and you got to go beat him up. Got to shut him down, because who knows what he's doing. So somebody, like an old general or something, hires you to go out there. So let's say over, and obviously if you guys get more suggestions, throw them out there. Actually, I have some questions for y'all already marked up. So overdrive ostrich was a prototype of autonomous. How do you spell autonomous? Is it autonomous steam powered robots? He was left behind in the factory when it was closed off, shut down. Post-war. Ah, that's good enough for now. And like I said, he's hiding behind the big old infinite sandstorm. Why was it? Yeah. Yeah, that was something I didn't figure out. Why wasn't the facility actually destroyed? Why did they just hide it behind a sandstorm? Why not blow it up? So that's something we can figure out today. And also some motives for Overdrive Ostrich. Like, why is he there? What is he waiting for? Does he still think a war is going on and he's building more machines? Like scorpions and wheelie dudes? That's something to consider. So for attacks, once you actually get to them. See, I always get lost in the sauce of the narrative, because that's the fun part for me. But he actually needs abilities. Excuse me. I would like the fact that he can think and learn to play a point in the fight. That's not really an ability. It's just like, hey, he's smart, but you know, the GM still has to pilot him, make the decisions, so I don't know how that works. Let's see, in the game, where's my website? He's super duper fast. Oh, I went too far. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. That's why. There he is. Yeah. So he runs very fast, and he does this weird thing. Yeah, can you see that? Where he hides in the background. If you go too far left or right and he gets off screen, he'll be in the background. So I'm wondering, maybe he can like burrow in the sand and hide, or like kick it up to make the storm to hide himself. Because in the background doesn't really work for a TTRPG. Fine in the game. He also has the blade things. So I'm thinking, of course, you know, a boomerang that cuts. Why not? Venting scaling steam. It could build up steam pressure as the fight progresses, and then explosive releases. Yeah, that's how he goes fast. What's up, party people? Hey, man, we're hanging in there. Oh, what is Tape Charles? I recognize that Charles now. What's going on, man? So anyway, what was I saying? So he's super fast, because he's an ostrich. And we're going to spell it right. Super fast. Then move at very fast speeds due to his lengthy legs. And is ostrich. I don't know, how fast can an ostrich actually go? Let's look that up. How fast is an ostrich? 30 to 37 miles an hour. Pretty good. And in urgent situations, they can sprint up to 43. Compared to the penguin. Ooh, ostriches kick super hard. Yep. Well, that's also something he does in the game, too. He does this little skippity jump thing and plop. As soon as you're flying, does a ton of damage, too. Eating potatoes and lurking. I smell the potatoes. Alright, super fast. So you can get around the battlefield and get around the battlefield movement distance. A lot more players. Alright. Kick. Has a devastating kick that deals damage and sends the player flying backwards if they strike. Solid object, take more damage. Fun fact, my wife's grandmother has ridden an ostrich. Let's see, I got a... Oh, hey! Kazduk, or Kazduk, I recognize you. Howdy, happy to catch a stream at the tail end of work. I've always loved when you ran too far away from the ostriches. Yeah, so running to catch up in the background. That's always weird. He had a strange stage. Like, I think it even said it in the thing about one of the few Mavericks with an outdoor arena and one of the widest in any Mega Man games to date. Yep. Everybody else is usually in their little box. I guess Blizzard Buffalo from X3, he had a wide stage where the screen actually had to move, but you were still pretty contained. Versus Overdrive Ostrich was just like huge. As the steam builds, it can change the environment as it takes water from the air, heating the area, drying the area, causing lightning. Ooh. And there's Blaze. What about burrowing their heads? Is this a feature you would be interested in incorporating, or is this something? I don't have it already. I don't know if, I think it was right before you popped in. So in the game, he does that background thing we were talking about where he kind of disappears. So I was wondering, since we're in a desert area, lots of sand, if he could just go down underground, because playing in TTRPG, you can't really say, oh, he's in the background, you can't get him. So he's hidden. So maybe he just goes under the ground, which seems like a weird thing for a bird to do, but he's also a machine. But we could also say he makes the sand come up. Higher defense if buried. Ooh. Fan shield. Well, he's got... Alright, we gotta give him the boomerang, too. It was the Sonic Slicer is what it was called in the game. Boomerang-like projectiles with super sharp edges. Very simple. So you can't keep him at a range. Throw that at you. You gotta go already. Ah! Don't ostriches bury their heads? I thought so. I noticed that in Mega Man games, the fast guys are always treated special. I was gonna say, Quick Man, yeah, had a cool portrait in those murder beams, yeah. Flame Stag had the cool volcano in a super vertical arena. That's right, his was tall. He also had a really cool soundtrack, too. Or theme, level music, whatever. Yeah. Well, who else is fast? Alright, so in X1... was Flame Mammoth was X1. So who's the fast one in X1? Would it be Storm Eagle, who also had a fancy stage? Because you could actually fall off that stage since you were on a airship. He did like the shoo, shoo, shoo thing, so he was kind of fast. Spark Mandrill, well, no, he wasn't that fast. Maybe he was the fast one. And the next two, it's this one, the next three. Who's the fast one in X3? There's Neon Tiger, Gravity Beetle, Crush Crawfish, Bolt Catfish, the Wasp, Tunnel Rhino. I forget. The Nerding! Metal Sonic is the fastest. Quick Man had a great theme too. Who am I kidding? They all had good songs. Yeah, so something with burrowing, hiding, steam. Boomer and Storm Eagle. Was Boomer or Quanger just kind of disappeared on you? That's what I was forgetting though. And he had a normal stage, so I think Storm Eagle gets that one. Which checks out for your theory, because that was a special stage. Yeah. I need Mega Man music playing. Okay. So, burrow, hide, something. What's it gonna do? Shoot spikes? Maybe yours shoots feathers? Well, he's got like... I gave him a cutting boomerang that he can throw. Maybe those are little things he can like pull out. Ooh, but you know what? On a successful hit, they swing back and hit the player again. Catch twice. Alright, so what do we want for... Because I feel like it'd be kind of weird if he just hid down in the ground. Now, he is a machine. So could he create a sandstorm to hide in? Boomerang is also very Aussie. Yeah. Let's do this. Ah, not that. Sandstorm. Can create a sandstorm around him. Around him. To not raise his defense, but to hide himself. Players will struggle to hit. See him. Players will struggle to hit, see him, as well as move. Overdrive. Ostrich will be able to move freely because that's how he do. Storm Eagle is the coolest stage. The next one for got a good track to it. For burrowing, you could combine that with super fast. If he ends up a couple moves away, he's very got an idea. Let's put that over there. How about this? Super fast. Can move at very fast speeds. Get around the battlefield. If he gets a specific distance away from the players, all the dust, sand he kicks up will make him hard to see, seeming as though he simply disappeared. That's not how you spell that. Something like that. So he can still get around, and then if he gets so far away from you, he gets hard to see. Kind of like the background trick. So he just disappears, and then he can, seeming as though he simply disappeared and reappeared somewhere else. That's not overpowered. And then we put the kick back over here. Our Sonic Slicer. So then we don't need the Sandstorm. Because that makes more sense. I like that. As far as Pitor was saying, excuse me, about the steam kicking up. Or building it. Excuse me. Steam. Does he say a one-liner each time he appears, JoJo style? I don't have a good one-liner. That's desert related. Or ostrich related. That's where you need the great mustache. He's always got a one-liner ready to go. He should. Let's see. I'm thinking about the steam because that could almost be a weakness. Like as he's moving really fast. That generates more steam in him than he can vent and release in a timely manner. So it just builds up and then goes into overdrive mode. Oh, we have, where did it go? We have window content. It's a cat. I don't know if you can even see her. I poked her. Alright. Go bye. And now she wants attention. Hello. Let's see. See, I always like the idea of an ability or thing, whatever, that builds up and then something happens. But my experience has been in TTRPGs, like that's not hard to do. It's just kind of cumbersome because it's another thing to keep up with. It's like, yeah, you know, after 3 turns of build-up, you can do this awesome thing, and it's like, nah. You know, lose track of your turns, and then some systems don't really do turns. They can just be free for all. So, but I really like the idea of the steam build-up. Maybe if he speeds more than a certain amount, something happens. Good luck with the rest of the stream. I have to get my kids from school. EU. I will try to join again in the future. Well, I will be right here. Hi, cat. Okay, you keep coming over here. You gotta commit. And there she goes. Oh, you're gonna start a fight with the other cat. Alright. We already have if he gets so far from a player, a thing happens. So to also say if he travels so far, thing happens. That'd be kind of... The steam builds up by levels. Each level changes the environment, thus the environment keeps track of the levels. Are we changing the whole desert? Freeze the desert? Now he's the weather. We already got a weather guy. We also got to figure out why he's hanging around this base and never left. And why the base was never blown up. Maybe just more dust, more heat. New mini enemies. Yeah, it calls in reinforcements. Because he's overheating. Yeah, it's hard to track more than one gimmick, and mini games might only have a few rounds of fighting. Yeah, unless there ways of minions to pad it out. Yep. Yeah, I've just found out that's something that doesn't translate very well. Because it's a cool video game mechanic, you know. Bopping on things and filling up your bar. Like, oh, Super Saiyan mode. A low health mechanic isn't too hard to do. If you go, I'll watch the VOD, take care everyone. Don't forget to like the stream. That's right. That's right. Like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let's see. Well, we can... Mining seems like an easy answer for the desert, at least. Or it could be a little wrong. Well, so the base was a bit... I think... Yeah, you came in after this, I think. So he's... it's a military base that was abandoned or left for some reason instead of blown up post-war, and he was the first autonomous robot prototype. So he's hanging around for some reason. And they have the whole base blocked off by this machine, making a sandstorm around it. So why he chose to hang around and why the people didn't blow it up, it's up for debate. Also, I just realized something. Yeah, his entire head, or at least this part right here, back, is all green. I thought he just had like a green little jewel right there. I didn't realize that was his whole scalp going on there. They learned. Also, why is he? He's silver here, and then he's blue here. Inconsistent artwork. Gotta love it. It was the best back in the day. Steam builder. So mining. So you think they left the base there because they're still mining something? Or maybe he's mining something. And he ran everybody off from the military base. And everybody was too embarrassed to admit it. Maybe it's strategically important, but it's a pain for living creatures to be there. Historically, dust and robots. That's true. Robots and dust. I did think about that, but... Fantasy steampunk setting. We'll make it work. Don't think about it too hard. I kind of like the idea that they made him and then he kind of took control of all the other bots and then ran off all the other people. And then maybe the people made the machine that made the sandstorm. Hoping that it would, you know, do what it typically does to machines. But it didn't. He used it to his advantage. That's kind of cool. Might go with that. So, ran them off Scooby-Doo style. Those meddling kids. Oh man. I don't know about the steam buildup. We're gonna put some question marks there. Something that builds up and then happens. That's descriptive. Alright. I mean, a few abilities. I feel like it's pretty good. He's got a very complicated one here. Overdrive Ostrich was a prototype. So let's do this. A ton of steam-powered robots. The humans thought they had him under control, but turns out, we'll just call him OD, was slowly taking control of the other bots of the base. Ran off all humans, and in order to save face, the humans made the sandstorm machine to hide the base as well as... What do you call that? Doesn't rust the machine, clog up the machine. Well, hopefully we'll just say run the bots and OD. Instead, this just worked as a way to mask the base for OD while he worked. Good enough. And we're gonna leave that right there. Get my phone out of my pocket. I gotta resituate myself here. Does he need anything else? He's got the ram, the kick, the slicer. He can also make a bunch of them come down, but I think we need to get that detail. I like what we did for the little background trick. That was cool. Just runs and kicks up a bunch of dust. He can teleport, basically. Ish. Teleport-ish. Incredibly fast. Yep. Okay. I will make a note. Let's do this. It's not an ability, but is a robot that can learn. This needs to be shown in the combat encounter where possible. Which would be kind of neat if, I mean, I guess the players would know what they're going up against. But if they didn't, it would be interesting if they went in and were fighting basic robots, you know, just made one line towards the players and didn't really have any survival instinct. And then they came up to him and just like, yeah, he's acting very different. Last one for a minute. I need to drive. Maybe the steam builds up is how he keeps the dust from settling. So it's like speed, has constant motion, keeps his joints from seizing up. Ooh. I like that. We'll put it up here. Let's give it a different color. How about a yellow? That looks too close to the background. Pick a color, any color. I feel like I've used all my colors. Potential weakness. He has to keep moving in order to keep the sand from its joints. Wait, make him... Well, if you make somebody hold still, that makes them more vulnerable. Duh, but that's poor wording. There, we'll just leave that there. I think that's good. Alright, well we cruised through that a bit faster than I intended, but I guess that's what happens when you have notes. Speaking of notes, let me check them here. I think we hit everything. And the fun part, well, I mean, hopefully it's all fun, but part I enjoyed was, of course, the narrative side. So you have the players in this world, like where everything's pretty nice. You know, like I was saying, the industry's all good and everything. Everybody's good living. No wars or anything going on. And then you learn about this factory that was making new war machines and got overrun with its own creations. And it's just been lurking out there in a sandstorm for who knows how many years, and your task was shutting it down and getting rid of the ostrich. So let's put the big old X on him. And see, what I'd like to do is polish these up. Polish. It'd be polished in my my opinion. And then like put them in the Discord or something so people could snatch them and use them when they need for a little reference, a little something. That way we get to stream, we get to hang out, and then we get to produce something from it too. It's a win-win-win. Yeah. All right. Make another one here. Doot 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 boop. I should, you know what, let me do this. Let me do setting information. Mission, objective, story, ability, map. He wasn't Neolithic, he was, y'all let me just keep that there. Okay. That's good enough for a template. And then we'll duplicate that. Now who's next? The Wheel Gator's next. The Wheel Gator. Wheel Gator. And he was Magitech, I think. Yeah. Which may or may not have been what prompted the question of the day today. Asking people what their go-to example of Magitech was. Unfortunately, I didn't get any answers before I went live. So with this guy, hear me out. Trying to think of what the world was. I was envisioning 80s clunky tech, like you have that, but mixed with the magic. So if you've seen Arcane, I think that was a super cool example of a Magitech setting, the way magic and technology fused together. That was a fantastic setting, the way they did that. Super, super cool. I thought I had another one. Oh well. Anyway, so I think their source of magic in this one would be like a liquid. So everything's got some kind of fluid. So imagine a wizard staff, but it's like made out of metal, got little blocky components on it, maybe some tubes and wires here and there, and then on the top is a ball with some glowing liquid in it. Like that's the magical power, and the liquid doesn't actually get consumed on use. It's just what powers it. I didn't think about it much farther than that. Now, so that's the setting. So this guy is not actually going to be a robot this time. He is going to be flesh and bone. And I was thinking some crazy scientist, because of course, was looking at the world, and he's like, you know, you should imagine a city kind of like Arcane that was super ahead of its time and was pushing the magic tech. So you have that city, and this guy's seeing everybody change, or technology change and progress, and the world and everything, and might have even seen it influence some creatures in the world too, and everybody's just changing and evolving, right? And then he looked at the gator and was like, nothing makes this guy change. He's been the same forever, like, right? Kind of like how they are in the real world. So he started experimenting, and let me double check my notes. What did he do? I didn't write it down. I thought he like ate it or something. Well, anyway, that's what we'll go with. He was experimenting on this gator, and the gator kind of started mutating a little bit. Actually, well, I mean, I guess they already got arms and legs, but it became more humanoid in shape. Just so we can get closer to the OG source here. So it's got lengthier arms and legs, maybe some mitts, some fingers it can actually grab stuff with, but it developed mutant gators, you say? Hell! Yeah, where have we seen one of those before? So he gets a little bigger than normal, but he develops an appetite for that liquid, and because in the game you were on this vehicle, Wheel Gators, that was going through the city, destroying everything. That's why I was like, okay, we're going to put him in the city, and he's going around looking for technology and, you know, trying to consume the liquid inside. But I thought it would be cool if it was kind of like a Predator-esque situation, where you have this one creature everybody's trying to track down, but he's really hard to track down and is just slowly picking people off. So it's not like he's bulldozing everything over, but he definitely has the capacity to do so. But like he's very, you know, like crocs, like very sneaky, right? Or gators, both of them. Like they'll just kind of float along and pretend to be a log and then get something. So he's very sneaky and hides where he can, but he can also rip doors right off the hinges and, you know, break walls down when he needs to. So when he finds a machine, so you think that 80s giant, big, bulky tech, when he finds big machines that just have a little bit of liquid, magic liquid in it, you know, he just rips the whole thing apart, and it's like, holy crap, you know, what did this? But the party has to do the predator kind of hunt. You know, gear up. You know, the old movie, 80s movie Predator. I guess with the current culture environment, I have to clarify with all the stuff going on. So you have to hunt him down, have to find him, and I don't know how you do this, but like every time you miss, not like miss a swing, but fail to catch up with him and corner him, he devours more of that magical stuff and gets stronger in the next encounter. So I don't think he would get harder and harder to find, but he would be slowly getting stronger and stronger and stronger the longer you took to find him. So how you would measure that out and scale that, I mean, probably depends on the game, depends on the GM. I don't know how I would do it. Luckily, I don't have to figure that out. See, this is how you do proper content creation. You delegate all the hard work to everybody else. Okay, so let's do this. Setting information. Magitech. Well, we already know that. Big city with lots of advanced tech. Bulky 80s. Well, that's kind of like 70s and 80s. 80s style tech. The Magitech is powered by a magical liquid, magic juice. What if it was like, remember like old radios and TVs and everything? You just have tubes in them. What if it was like that, but the tubes were full of liquid? Why not? Tube tech, but the tube is full of liquid. I forgot what the proper name for that was. I remember tubes. I'm gonna really show my age. Technically, I don't think tubes were in use when I was little, but there was still some old stuff around that people had. Hang on. Did the old TVs have... They had tubes in them too, right? Like, I'm thinking of the old radios. Alright, let's hit the research machine. Old TVs did have tubes. The CRT... Okay. Does Full Metal Alchemist count as Magitech? I would probably, because they're like using magic and tech. I'm trying to remember what all the world was. It was very like World War I-esque, wasn't it? Or two? Two. Because everybody, all the military guys had names that were World War II vehicles, I thought. Tubes. Yeah, I remember seeing these things. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Tubes. They call it science. Well, that's like what Magitech is, right? Taking the magic and making it a science. FMA is Magitech, in my opinion, because they harness power into physical objects and machines as well as through their bodies. Catch a question of the day. Yeah, like I said, I really can't remember the setting for Full Metal Alchemist. I remember like what the people did with alchemy and things they made, but as far as machinery or anything like that, I don't remember. Need to watch it again. I can see the front of this TV. That big old cabinet it's in. Got the little waffle pattern thing over here. Oh man. What a time, what a time. So that, but see, check this out. These guys are full of the magic, the liquid. Blast from the past. I like that. Magitech, big city, lots of advanced tech. World. What do you call that? World is in the middle of a big advancement. Technological advancement. World is in the middle of a big tech advancement. Think 80s and computers. Okay. So here's our objective. Mad scientist man decided to experiment on a gator because he realized couldn't spell. If you want to figure out why or just be weird. The result was a mutated gator with a is that one word? It is. No, it's not. Never ending hunger for magic juice. He is currently terrorizing. Boy, I spell type good. That's terrorizing the city and killing innocents in order to destroy machines for more magic juice. Yeah. See ya, Petor. Petor. Oh, cat. Okay. Now we're gonna make some abilities. So, what's this dodo do? Wheelgator. See, that's what I'm saying. See, he just bloop, bloop. Like that is the wheel ability, but like that's his name. It's weird. Like they could have called the Overdrive Ostrich Sonic Slicer. It's like why did they do that? Frustrates me. Anyway. So he could throw the blade. Oh yeah, that was the other thing too. So, because obviously he's not a machine, he's not metal in this one. I was like, okay, how are we gonna make him Wheel Gator? Part of his mutation. I guess I can just hop over to this. Oh wait, that doesn't work for y'all because you still see the interwebs. All right. Wheel Gator. That's the name of the ability. So he grew like very sharp spikes along his back, and he can actually, due to his new shape, curl up in a ball and roll and just bulldoze. It's very silly, but I had to get a wheel in there somehow. All right. Several sharp blade-like spikes. That makes sense. Run across his back. He can curl up. Wow. With a running start, he can curl up into a ball and roll through obstacles. Flattening or cutting as needed. Imagine you got your party all grouped together. Just goes right through them. Okay. -1. On. I mean, this is pretty gatorish, right? He's just in the water. And this is what I originally started with some magic liquid stuff. I thought, oh, he could swim in it. Like he just goes nuts and finds a swamp full of it or something. You know, normally you can't touch it or anything. And he's in it. But I wanted him to be in the city, like the level. Then he does... Oh yeah, see, this is... I talked about this last stream because despite having played these games 1,000 times, I always played them the same way, over and over and over. And that means when I fought him, I always had his weakness, which was Fire Sponge's weapon. But apparently, you can... he can eat your shots and shoot them back at you. Pulls a Kirby on you almost. Gator opens his mouth, player shoots him, he eats the projectiles and becomes briefly invincible. So, if the players have any magic-based tech or attacks, he can just counterspell, right? Consume. Meow. Meow. Y'all hear this cat? Fussy. If a player uses magic tech, that's how you spell it, right? Magic tech. Wheel Gator may be able. Yeah, I'll just leave it. May be able, because that's system dependent. May be able to consume the attack and charge himself. This can mean increased defense or unleashing a powerful attack. Yeah. And then he has the obvious, right? Like teeth. Ah. What's something else gators can do? Jowls. Gator clamp his jaws down on a player and keep them there while still being able to freely move about the battlefield. Whack, 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 whack. Yeah, Wheel Gator can clamp his jaws down on a player and keep them there while still being able to be able to freely move about. But players will take damage with each failed escape attempt. So he's got you, just crushing you. And he's moving around the battlefield. And then he does cat. Just commit if you want over here. Stop him on. You're a nuisance. You want to say hi to chat? Oh, now you just start purring. There you go. Alright, so he's got this silly thing he does. Wheel Gator hops before dashing forward like a spinning drill. And he just so happens to have the same color scheme as Tunnel Rhino in X3. This is like a spitting drill. This carves a non-lethal spike on the wall, which stays there for the rest of the battle. So we could say he shreds the environment somehow and turns it into rough terrain or potentially dangerous terrain. Gator only uses this move on low health. That does less damage than Overdrive Ostrich's kick. I'm telling you, that ostrich kick's brutal. Because you're in the city, right? And you're going to be in buildings. So you can, like, rip up the floor or something. I don't know. And I know we made the last guy smart because it was a autonomous robot. He's a gator. He's mutated. Nah, I was thinking maybe we could make him smart too, but he's just really good at hunting. I kind of like the idea, you know, shredding the environment, but I don't... Maybe he can just make doors, you know, make a hole in the wall and escape. Well, we got 3 abilities from the game. So what's something like... There's nothing level related I can squeeze in there like we did Overdrive Ostrich. Well, I do want to give him this. This is part of his mutation. A new ability? I don't know. How do you spell that? There's no way I got that right the first time. I thought I did. I got excited for a second. Mutation has given him better legs and arms, allowing him to run, climb, even interact. That looks alright. So monster in the city. Go get him. Yeah. I don't think he needs much more. These don't have to be like super in depth, I don't guess. Chomp, 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 chomp. Dinosaur tank stage. Bulldozing the city. The time of day. That was a unique feature. See, look how many enemies are in his level. Right? Drive ostrich. Basically had 2, but technically 3. Oh, that was... I thought there was something I left out. I'll just say condition. Thing. I don't know. Great notes. Let's see. How do I want to word this? The longer the players take to find and counter Leo Gator, the more Magitech juice he consumes and the stronger he gets. So I feel like Adam from Cleaner Crossroads would like this guy. Because the search makes me think of something he would like. Just search in a city. I wouldn't know how to run that kind of a game. It's like, okay, your objective is to find this guy. You're not really like putting clues together, I don't think. It's just like, okay, this spot over here is wrecked. He was here. We missed him. Unless he had like a pattern. Other than, you know, going for Magitech juice. But I could definitely see Adam getting a map layout of an actual city and everything and using that. That seems right up his alley. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave that there. And that is the only two that I did. Last time it took me 2 hours to do 2 guys here, and that was a sentence. And then today we did 2 in 1 hour. So having notes definitely helped. Who'd have thought? So let's roll up the other ones. Here's the one from X1, which technically I tried like a couple years ago. And only did a couple of them and then never got back to it. So anyway, let's put the big old X. And then let's do this. Let's go ahead. Bibble crib. Goofy little dude. Let's do this. Okay, I think it was. Let's get them all prepped for the next stream. So D10 to determine their setting. A 1! Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk Bubble Crab. I'm here for it. Alright. Bubble Crab. Cyberpunk. He's gonna swim the seas of the internet. That'll be great. Flame Stag. Yeah, cool music. Alright, what's he gonna be? Seven. I thought we landed on another one. Solar Punk. Is that one word or 2? Yeah, that's 2 now. Magnus in it. He's a cool boss. Cool character design. He's like kind of ninja-y. But also, he makes... Let me put him in the front here. He makes no sense. Like, what is his body doing? Like, here is the centipede body, right? You can see it. But like it goes this way. And then he has a head right here. So like in the middle of the centipede body is a head. So it's like, I don't know, is the torso one thing and this is a long ponytail centipede thing going on? It's one of those things, it's cool, but don't think about it too much. I feel like that was a lot of Mega Man. I love it though. Alright, what is he gonna be? I'm not digging this music. 8. Weird World War. Again. That's okay, that was a fun one. I I think he'll be good for that. Okay. Oh, that's the last one. Crystal Snail. He's a goofy dude. Crystal Snail. When I was little, I always felt like there was more lore behind his shell, and I never got it. 7, we just did that one. 4, I'll take it. Weird West. Ah, where's Peter? Hey, Crystal Snail. Neil. How are we gonna... Because he has like an ice level. It's ice and crystal. Because he's technically the ice cold level in that one, but it's all crystally, but there's still like slick floors and stuff. Oh, hang on, I know what we gotta do here. Just for Peter. Let's see. We're gonna zoom in here a little bit. How am I gonna do this? This might work. I don't think that's gonna work. That's not gonna work. I need a different one. Ah! It's big. Let's put it on a shelf. Oh, you guys are a little cut off over there. Kind of weird. Oh, I can do this though. Yep. It's weird how y'all are cut off like that. So we can put the hat on his shell. Or we can try and put it on his head. There we go. Weird West, Crystal Snail. That is an option, I guess. Weird. Yeah. That's it, though. How am I gonna make that work? There any snails in the desert? We already did a desert, though. Dang, Overdrive Oster should have been Weird West. Missed opportunity. Oh well, that's how the dice work. That one's gonna be a good one, I think. I feel like a weird World War setting's just easy to work in. It's kind of like fantasy. It's magic. That's how it works. I don't know anything about solar punk. Bullcrap. I think I can make that one work. All mice die. Got a chance to make this. Well, I hate to tell you, but it's kind of wrapping it up. I was prepping for the next one. But since you're here, this saves me a DM. I feel like I saw your thing in the promote yourself. You got a Kickstarter coming summer, right? Everybody decided to just do things this morning, you know. I don't get anything for like 2 months, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you want to do a video for this? You want to sponsor for that? I got this project. You want to like, oh, guys. But anyway, good problems to have. So if you got a Kickstarter coming up in summer, if I'm not overlapping projects here and remembering who said what, would you like to hop on a stream. I don't know if you saw, you can go check it out. The scale mail stream. Not the game. I mean, if you want to watch it, you can watch that too, obviously. I did a little interview with the guy that made it, Mr. Mike, because his Kickstarter was already going. That's why I chose to do that, because I didn't have time for video and everything. Coming this summer, I updated the post a bit to include the video intro. Oh, very cool. Piece of finished art. We like our finished art. I say finished art. Tangent. I've always had a very soft spot for concept art. That was my favorite thing about video games when I was a little kid, was unlocking concept art and seeing it. But anyway, so would you want to, you did see the scale mail stream, very cool. So would you like to do something like that? I think that might be something I want to start doing more of, as just having a one-on-one, and eventually get to play the game. And obviously if we can run the game and show it off, that's very cool, but then do a air quotes proper video review on it later. But I enjoyed the one-on-one with Mr. Mike, and letting him get to do the elevator pitch and decide what he wanted to tell the audience and all that. And that way people can ask questions. There were 2 scale mail streams. Yeah, there's one where we played and then one where we interviewed him. So all that to say, do you want to do a stream like the interview where you get on? You would love to do something like that, ideally during the Kickstarter. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I thought maybe you'd want to build some momentum up to it. Start getting the word out. Start getting people signed up. Because you can, right, if you have the Kickstarter page, you can hit the sign me up button to get notified and emailed and all that. Because now it's like, I guess that's how Kickstarter works. You gotta kickstart twice, basically. The first kickstart phase is getting everybody's emails and interest, get them to click the button, I'm interested in this, and then when you actually go live, then Kickstarter will, if you got more people interested, they'll push you up through more. Algorithms, man. But yeah, we can do an interview, and if it's not like a super crunchy game, we can run it. I'm trying to decide where the crunch limit is for me, just because it's a little, if I got to bring other people into it, it's like kind of, I heard somebody talking. It's kind of a tall order to ask them, hey, read all this and learn it. Also, I know this track. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me turn it up. This is what's his name. So this is from Pictionary on the NES. Oh, I love that track. Prior to playing the game, I just finished 250 session long play test. That is, holy moly. The game is fully playable. Just a bit. 250 sessions. That is a lot. I had to do the math in my head. How many years is that? If you played every week without fail, isn't that like 5 years? Right? Am I tripping? The goal for the game is that you should be able to read about 2 pages, jump in, there are about 4 pages. Okay, yeah, see, that's fine. I just want to hand somebody like a Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons book and be like, here you go. Or here, I got one over here. Like this guy, he sent this as a bonus for, it's for Cinder Edge. I have a video on it, but he also sent me this. This was another game he made, Mythcraft, and it's like, yeah, it's seems cool, but like, look, that is a big book. That is. Okay, I'll show it to you upside down. I'm gonna do it right. And it's little text. But it sounds like a cool concept, and lots of character customization and all that, but that's a lot to learn. for just playing something once. So 4 to 5 sessions a week for. So wait a minute. So as far as playing the game, I just finished a 250 session long playtest. So was that 250 sessions of the same campaign, meaning you guys played 4 to 5 times a week for over a year? Complexity ramps up as you go, but the whole point of the game is that you start off with very simple mechanics and simple stuff. Ooh, see, I like that. You start off simple and then work your way into the hard stuff. I like it when video games do that too. Not so much complicated, but the higher skill, like the really fast-paced, fast reaction games, you know, they start you off here, and then when they make the difficulty harder, instead of just bullet sponges, they start adding new mechanics. It's like, oh no, now you can, you know, you can triple jump, you can wall slide, you can do this, but you don't start with everything. So they get you used to one thing and then throw you a curveball. 120 players. That's a lot. It's well tested though, it sounds like. Okay, cool. So hidden tutorial plus ramp up. Yeah. Yes. Hidden tutorial. Yep. Love that. Okay, so let's do that. You tell me when you want to do it. Like I said, I just assumed you'd want to build up momentum to the Kickstarter. But if you want to do games while the Kickstarter is going, that's fine. Or games and or interviews. Do one now, one later, or both during the Kickstarter. Either way you want to go, right before. I will say the stream part is way more flexible. If you wanted like a video review and everything, those only do a video every 2 weeks, so that can be hard to slot into sometimes, unless I have proper heads up, right? So yeah, that's probably smarter, but I like running games for people. Yeah, that's good because I like playing. So I mean, you can also do it more than once. This Mike from Scale Mail, he's like, hey, if you guys want to play again, you know, I'll run it for you. It's like, sure. So that's good. I am spoiled because of YouTube. Like, finding players is a game to join is pretty easy. So, but anyway, yeah, you could hit me up. My DMs are open. You shouldn't have to like friend request or anything. You can just shoot me stuff and we'll get something. Interview, game, both. One or the other, whatever you want to do, and we'll figure out a time. And yeah, I also got another message this morning. It was a puppies and rainbows for me. I get to run a game for you. Think it's worth reviewing? Review it. Interview for everyone else interested in Kickstarter. Cool. Very, very cool. All right, I got another email this morning. I got 2 this morning. One was about a VTT called Harpy, and I'd never heard of it, and he was wanting to do some work together, but it was also made for play-by-posts, and I was like, well, that caught my attention. And then another one reached out. It was some K-pop Demon Hunters inspired 5e mod, or no, I think it is just straight up K-pop Demon Hunters, but it's 5e, so it's like, K-pop Demon Hunters was pretty cool, but 5e, maybe if you pay me, we'll see. I don't know what he wants yet. I was on the road this morning, trying not to run off in a ditch because of snow and ice. So, we'll see. I guess it makes sense though. New year just rolled over. Everybody's getting their projects launching, getting ready for summer. Yeah, 5e. And that's the thing, right? It's the last guy that reached out with a 5e project. I said, hey man, this looks super duper cool. It's, like, I like what you've done, but I don't do D&D content. Like, it would kind of put me in a weird spot because everybody knows I don't like D&D, and then all of a sudden to put D&D out here, it's like, I don't know. And that was a lot closer to the OGL fiasco and everything else going on. So I was like, I really don't want to touch Hasbro at this point. But, you know, when somebody... The hard part is it's like, yep, I don't like 5e. But I'm also not going to tell you not to play it. I'll make jokes and poke fun and all that. But, like, if you legitimately enjoy it, go enjoy it. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of being a D&D channel. It's like, no. It's like, I'm not, even though I know I'd get way more views. But I don't want to do that. But if somebody makes something, it's like, okay, I want to promote them. But if they make something for 5e, it's like, well, okay, now what do I do? Right? Yeah, you run a ton of 5e. Tired of it. That's the thing, like, it's... If it did not have the hype and praise, I'd probably just be like, yeah, well, it's okay. Just wasn't for me. No? But it's like, it gets... It's weird. Well, actually, it's not weird. I mean, it's just the power of advertising. But I was going to say, it's weird how much... praise, how much money it makes. But I will say it is very discouraging when somebody makes something like, let's take Peter for example, Tales from Elsewhere. He poured so much work into that, and yes, his Kickstarter did do well, but that's like a full 400-page manual, right? That's all new mechanics, entire new system, setting, all this wonderful artwork, you know, all this stuff going into that. And his Kickstarter was like, what, $40,000? And for all of that. And then somebody makes, I kid you not, a necromancer class for 5e. And I think they made $60,000 on that Kickstarter. That's all it was. It was just a class. It's like, come on, man. That's what's discouraging to me. Is what somebody just makes a little something for 5e. And it's just... insta cash. It's like, man, maybe that's what I should be doing. Just use my channel to promote other people, but fund my channel by making 5e content. So it's a thought and a temptation sometimes. Just like, man, would I be shooting myself in the foot? It's a weird thing. Weird thing. People gonna like what people like. But like I was saying with the guy that reached out with his project, it's like, man, I want to help other people making stuff. I know Wizards of the Coast doesn't need any help, but like when individuals are making something for Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons, it's like, right, do I tell them no and not help them out? Or what's up, Sebelth? One of the plans we were considering is focusing on the parts of my game and a project usable. Yeah, see, the 5e conversion, right? Because you can just play the style and platforms on 5e. Yep. People like their 5e and just don't. I guess because they just don't want to learn something new, or a lot of people just don't realize. And this is the crazy part. It's really silly when you think about it, but there's a lot of people that just don't stop and consider. Oh, there's other TTRPGs I can play of various complexities and difficulties. It's like, I mean, imagine, and that's how I was when I got into TTRPGs. It was just, we started on D&D 5e, and it did not occur to me for a couple years that there's probably other games. But or I thought they were just all going to be 5e like, you know, because I knew there was Pathfinder, and it's like, oh, well, that's another complicated mess. I just figured that's how they all were. But it's like, imagine playing Mario Brothers on the Nintendo and then just assuming that's all there is, or everything is just like it. Like, that's how silly it is. But I can say that because I did the same thing. A lot of people have been sold on the idea that 5e's rules is light and easy. That's where I get a little upset. And then they say that really learning it means reading 100, but yeah. Yeah, 5e to me would be insanely less offensive if it sold itself as for what it really was. Like, hey, you know, if they sold it like the roguelike games, video games do, like, hey, make a broken build, break the game, do this. If that's how 5e sold itself, I'd be like, okay, yeah, there's no lie. But like, I think somebody told me the new D&D does that though. Like, it encourages you to make overpowered broken builds and basically make your GM's life miserable, whereas previous 5e was like, this is a collaborative storytelling experience. It's like, no, it's not. It just feels like the tide is slowly turning. I've been meeting more and more total strangers that already knew about more niche TTRPGs. That's good. And that's at the bar for them. Yep. Still vastly 5e landscape, but there's definitely a ton more awareness. So, I will say, Mr. Sable, I don't get out to cons, right? I went to Gen Con, and that's my entire con experience. But I look at other cons and look at the game schedules, and like, D&D is dwindling. There's post OGL, their grip on cons kind of slipped, but there's still plenty. But it's nice to see. But you're right, it is vastly a 5e landscape because it's just what people know. One of the reasons I love my local community is that we have a weekly game night. 6 to 8 games run every Wednesday. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Usually only one of the one of the tables is 5e. Warms your soul. Yep. And like I said, if you actually enjoy it, that's fine. But my experience, or what I have seen in a lot of people, is that they don't enjoy it. But they love the concept of a TTRPG. They're like, I want to do this, and that's why, don't take my word for it. Go to YouTube and look at all the countless videos of how to fix combat in D&D, how to fix turn orders in D&D, how to make this more exciting. It's all these D&D fixes. There's entire channels dedicated to it, and they get tons and tons of views. It's like, here's how you fix Barbarian. Here's how you fix the Bard class. Here's blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, it seems like we're widely in agreement that D&D does not work very well as it is. And everybody's looking for solutions, and it's like, why don't y'all just, instead of fixing what Hasbro can't do, just go find a different game made by somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah, ReaperCon is local to me, which is primarily a wargaming con. Ooh. But they had a bunch of tables for Pirate Borg and the other non-D&D. If I run another D&D style adventure, I really want to do it using Nimble. I don't know anything about Nimble, but I see it keep coming up. And that's the other side that I don't get. It's like people who don't like D&D and go make their own game, and then they just make it D&D-like. It's just like, oh, it's like D&D, but easier. It's like D&D, but this makes it. It's like, okay. You put all that work into it. You could have made something new. I had this conversation recently where nobody is actually running the game as is, but instead you run a game that gets you close to it. Yeah. And that is not a bad thing. I don't want it to come across like, oh, if you're changing the game, but so many people do it to D&D a lot of times because it doesn't work, and they're like, there's so many things in there they don't like, or whatever the case may be. And it's one thing, it's like, okay, I really like Easy D6, but I'm just going to tweak this one little thing. That's one thing. But when you're doing all these fixes and conversions, and like I said, you got YouTube channels dedicated to fixing and adjusting it, it's like, just go try a different game. Like, why are you so committed to this one? 5e feels close to where people sort of vaguely want to go. I've talked to lots online that complain about D&D, but refuse to play anything else because they don't want to learn a new system. Yep. And that's funny too. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to learn something new. And I feel like 90% of those people legitimately don't know the rules for D&D, because like you were saying, somebody was saying earlier, everybody has their own homebrew version and they just make things up as they go. So it's like, I don't realize like there's a game that could get them basically exactly what they want to go, but it's treated as a feature of a good DM to be able to make. Yeah, That's a thing. To me, I treat D&D as a genre at this point. High heroic fantasy means more specifically if I was going to run something in Faerun specifically, or D&D adventure book. Nimble, so isn't Nimble just D&D 5e stripped down? Isn't that all it is? All it is. I mean, there's probably more work to it than that, but otherwise, yeah, going with a different game entirely. Yeah, there's so many other games out there, and the thing is, so many of them are free or pay what you want. So it's not like you're out of pocket to try them. So, and that's why I always say in my videos, when it's a pay what you want, it's like, hey, go pick it up for free and try it out. And if you had a good time, you know, go throw the guy a couple dollars. Everybody at the table, go throw a couple dollars at the guy. It's like, you know, it's nothing, and he'll appreciate it. And if everybody at the table does it, like, that's the cost of one book. Now, if you want to go play it again, or plan to play it again, you know, go pay the recommended price. So there's no risk there. But like I said, you have to get that initial thought in their head. And I say that because for some reason, despite me being the type that usually goes out and looks for things, when I was playing D&D, I was just like, this is it. You know, I never thought, youtube.com, what games are like D&D but not, you know? It's just like, what other TTRPGs are there? For some reason. It was originally homebrew that evolved into its own game. Oh, this is Nimble. It has a section in this book to direct conversions of stat blocks from 5e. Okay. Very neat. Shadow Dark is D&D stripped down to be more OSR like, and that's what I was thinking. I still haven't played Shadow Dark. Nimble is D&D stripped down to be more modern D&D combat. It's sport but faster. Okay. Yeah, I'll admit I kind of poo-pooed on Shadow Dark when it first came out. And I feel bad. Luckily I didn't make any videos saying anything, but behind the scenes I was kind of just like, whatever, you know. I figured it was just something that got overhyped for whatever reason, but when I glanced at it, I was like, oh, it's just like I was saying earlier, it's like, why do you want to go through all this trouble to make your own thing but make it D&D like? But you know, that's like, okay, that's obviously more to it than that, but maybe not. I do want to play it though. I do want to play it, and Kelsey seems like a pretty cool lady, so But I really didn't want to ride the hype train either. It probably would have been very beneficial for the channel if I did. But I was just like, I don't want to be that guy. Because, like, you guys know how it was when Shadow Dark got big on Kickstarter and everybody was talking about it. And then everybody was like, oh, she's paying people off. So there was a lot more non-D&D content recently, though, especially since Daggerheart made folks realize that there are, in fact, other TTRPGs. Here's hoping. Yeah. I just don't hear anybody talking about Daggerheart. I feel like it already came and went. But it did. I don't know. Like, I have the Daggerheart book. Somebody gave it to me. Because I sure wasn't going to pay anything for it. I have zero interest in it. And it kind of went about the way I expected it to. A bunch of people bought it because they like Critical Role, they like Matt Mercer, so it's just sitting on people's shelves. More people than I thought did end up picking it up and playing it and actually saying they like it, but I think they're already... See, the problem was, I feel like Daggerheart was specifically to get 5e people. That's like the worst audience to try and get because they're the least likely to let go of what they have. So naturally, people just kind of started gravitating back to 5e. I don't know, I could be wrong. Daggerheart could be doing super well, but like I said, I looked through its mechanics and it just did not interest me at all. I think it's because the core elements of the D&D like are solid, but it's implementation that matters. Daggerheart gets played a lot around here. Okay. That being said, the one that confuses me is Cosmere RPG. I don't know that one. Yeah, the hype for Daggerheart died as soon as Critical Role announced they were using it. Yeah, that was like, I can't. I mean, I can fully believe it, but I can't at the same time. That's one of those things. It's just like, guys, you poured millions of dollars into this thing. If you open up Daggerheart and say this here, I'll just open it up for you. I have the PDF. This is when, well, I guess I can't say when you know. How am I gonna do this? Just take a screenshot. If I open up a TTRPG and I see this many people made it, I don't want it. I don't want to play it. It is overproduced, in my opinion. And I was just talking about this with somebody not too long ago about, we were talking about artwork and then how it's like, yeah, the Daggerheart is loaded, like every page there's artwork, but it's well done, but it's so boring. It's because it's that D&D style of artwork. It's like, it's so overdone. It's so safe. You know, it's just so boring. Yeah, I feel like nobody is playing that multi-million-dollar Kickstarter game. Casimir TTRPG Kickstarter. Holy moly, 15 million. Well, what didn't not Matt Mercer. What's the other dude? Matt Colville. Didn't his Kickstarter make multiples of millions of dollars? And it was not a game that interested me. I have no connection to Matt Colville, so I was like, I don't have anything to do. Ooh, hit the microphone. It's like, I don't have anything to do with this, so I didn't care about it one way or the other. But I thought his was a couple million at least. But somebody was showing me concepts of like their page layout and stuff, and then the finished product, and it was just like, like you went 10 steps backwards. Where'd all the money go? Yeah, Colville. Cosmo requires a load of information, even though it tries its best to explain the world. But I was only able to run it after my friend, who's a die-hard fan, gave me a primer on it. That's pretty bad. Or that's like too much information. But having played Cosmere, it's a fun game. Well, that's good. It is still yet again another D&D style game with extremely similar stats and skills. Yep. And Pathfinder. But you liked it. Yeah, I would say, like, I would never want to run Pathfinder 2e. I don't think I could ever learn how the game actually works. And I don't particularly ever want to join another Pathfinder 2e game, but like, I was in part of a campaign for one. I had to jump in and help somebody finish a campaign. There were definitely things I really appreciated about it. There are, despite, like I said, never wanting to run it, never wanting to play it again, there's a lot of nice things I can say about it. Like, it does some things very, very well, but it's just not for me. Daggerheart is a Franken game? Yes, absolutely. That was something I was going to get off into. It doesn't do anything original. It's a total mismatch of mechanics. Yep. Which, to be fair, I mean, a lot of games do that, but yeah, when I was reading, just kind of skimming through Daggerheart, I guess I can say I've played a lot of games at this point, but when I was flipping through it, I was just like, oh, that's just the mechanic from so-and-so, but with extra steps. Like, that was a recurring thing I said. It's just that, but with extra steps. That's just this, but with extra steps. Draw Steel, if you like the style game. Is it well done? I mean, I don't like that kind of game, but it's very obvious for a specific thing. Pathfinder 2e is a game that, generally speaking, you need to enjoy a minigame process of building. Yeah, if you don't, it's going to be a struggle. So I just picked a barbarian and had the GM do a lot of my leveling up for me. So, I mean, the recommended way to play Pathfinder is to load up a whole automated web app to build security. Whoo, yeah. See, if we had been playing at a physical table or a VTT that didn't automatically do everything for us, I would probably have a very different tone and opinion. We were playing in Foundry, and the Foundry module for Pathfinder is incredible. But at that point, it's like, maybe we should just play a video game. I don't know, man. Yeah, let's say, if it's something you enjoy, knock yourself out. And that's what I was saying earlier about 5e. It's like, don't let me poo-poo on it. You know, if it's something you enjoy. I like making my jokes, but Blaze is a buddy of mine. He likes crunchy games. I don't. But I'm not gonna, like, tell him not to play crunchy games. Yeah, Foundry Pathfinder is different. Yeah, that's, I kind of figured. Because there's so many things going on. So many effects and status of conditions and modifiers. It's just... I hate modifiers so much. Like in 5e, it's like, oh, you get a proficiency bonus and a skill bonus and a stat bonus. It's just like, oh my gosh. I don't know why. Because, like, I don't like the way D&D does that, but I can't say that I don't like modifiers, even though I just said it. Because there's other games, like where you make a dice pool, I get excited. It's like, oh, can I add a d6 from this? Ooh, I have this. Can I add another d6? Can I add another d6 from this? I'm like hoarding my dice. Go. And I don't know what the difference is. Because you'd think D&D would be easier. It's like, no, you always get a +2 from this stat. You always get a +3 from this proficiency, or whatever. Maybe because the dice pools are a little more negotiative, if that's a word. Because you're like, hey, GM, this is a strength-based task. Can I add a d6 from this? You know, you're haggling with the GM. Blaze likes... Blaze, not Blaze. Crunchy Games tell him he should add some options for his game. You talking about World Shapers? He's got all the options. You think it needs more. Good old Blaze. How's your opinion of 3.5e D&D if you have a virtual tabletop? That automates at 3.5 is actually pretty sick for its age. Yeah, it wasn't... Because, see, I got into TTRPGs very late. Wasn't 3.5... when they were trying to be a video game, like they were trying to lean on those mechanics. I could be wrong, but I thought that's what I had heard. The +1 is a new die roll. It's more tangible. Maybe that's what it is. I feel like I'm getting something, you know, a little treat instead of just bookkeeping. 'Tis the joke. Okay, all right. Let's make sure. Had to make sure. World Shapers is pretty cool, I'll admit. It's pretty neat. I still don't know how to make a character, despite having played it many times, but I like giving Blaze a concept and seeing what he comes up with and then playing. Because playing it's... I mean, imagine if you're running it and keeping up with everything, it's a little harder, but playing it as a player is pretty easy. Not as much 3.5 was them really trying to do the AD&D thing where they wanted to define it. Okay, I might be thinking about something else then. Because I thought there was some back and forth between D&D and video games. Like, D&D was the thing, that video games took D&D mechanics and then got big, and then D&D was like, well, let's try and be like video games, and they were just like kind of feeding off of each other. But that means there's a rule for it. Yeah, that's when I kind of fall out of it. It's like, oh, I don't want to have to look up swim speeds and cover and all that. It's getting foggy outside. So, I like the loosey-goosey ones. The most double-edged sword of all time. 4E, they wanted to make D&D more video game or Magic the Gathering like. Okay, was it 4E? Alright, I thought it was 3.5. I was close. 4E was supposed to get a VTT. Oh, and I wonder what the landscape would look like if it did. Man, when was 4E? When did that come out? When did D&D 4E? 2008. What was the computer scene like in 2008? I think it would have been fine. We would have handled it. 4E VTT. Oh, they did do it? Interesting. 2008. Yeah, that's what I got. Well, when did 5E come out? 2014. Wow. I'm trying to think. 2014. Yeah, okay. Time, man. How does it work? I'll die on 4E's hill. Enjoyed it a lot, divisive or not. Ran a long, successful Eberron campaign. Oh, the story of why the VTT failed is wild. I'll have to look into that. I didn't know that was a thing. Is 4E the controversial one? I thought that was 3.5. I guess I'm just really getting those two mixed up. 4E's been heavily reliant on MMORPGing skill like cooldown. Interesting abilities, and it wasn't a way people preferred to play their D&D. I mean, that makes sense. Do not look into it on stream. You get demonetized, so that checks out. What can't demonetize you these days? These streams aren't monetized anyway, so. But I won't. I'll do that with my lunch or something. On your own time for that one. Well, now I want to do it because you told me not to. Fourth Heroes of Might and Magic also is a controversial one. I will say there's a large part of me that doesn't understand why these games make new editions instead of just making a new game. And that might be because I grew up on video games. You know, you made Mega Man 1, and then you made Mega Man 2, and you made Mega Man 3. They were different games. I mean, they were kind of the same, but you know, it was new story, new adventure. Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, those were all three very different games. And then all the Zelda games, they were all very different. They were their own thing. I don't understand why they take that rule set and do a big shift, but still call it the same game. Like, it's Dungeons and Dragons 2E. It's like you're just dividing your player base, your customer base. Like, why just make a new game if you want to do a new rule set? It's weird to me. I mean, and then the little part of me that gets it, it's like, okay, it's a business decision. They think they make more money doing it this way, but sometimes I wonder. And you could like have it in the same world too, but just be a different rule set, different game. 4E was the best written Dungeon Master's Guide ever. VTT story is tragic and awful. 4E both pushed away people who liked third and brought in a bunch of new people. And that kind of what they're doing now? Or you mean you brought in like a bunch of new players? I was thinking a bunch of new employees because they ran off all the old ones. 4E DMG 2 is probably the best DMG. There's two of them written in any edition of D&D. The publishing tale is the answer. Ooh. You see, games change owners of right, and new owners don't really have the same design capabilities, so the best they can is kind of milk. Yeah. Say like that, that's the little part of me that gets it, but doesn't want to admit it. Because D&D brand is what's popular. Yep. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, you could still say, oh, it's Dungeons and Dragons, but new rule set. Here's the kid-friendly rule set. Here's the Wargamers rule set. Here's, you know, whatever. You have the different vibes. Because the first couple books sell really well, then slowly taper out, then the audience doesn't want to feel like they waste their money. Yeah. Not even D&D can stick around and stick to the same world. It's probably true. Ori was an absolute blast to DM. Best times I've had. They did a Gamma World. Monetized booster packs. That messed it up. Who would have guessed? D&D isn't the most played because it's a system. It's most played because marketing. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier too. This is the power of advertising, right? And I've spoken with a few with a few people in the writing side of the world, the authors and editors, and they'll tell you, it's like, everybody wants to know what makes a bestseller, and it's like, well, good marketing. Doesn't matter what you write. Good marketing is what makes you a bestseller. That is true for everybody, right? Whatever you're shilling. Ori was the game Colville played the most, you think? It inspired a lot of draw steel? He didn't play it the most, but he played it a lot. Oh, a lot of the design keywords of draw steel are the same as 4E. What is Matt Colville anyway? Is he just like a player that got popular, or does he work for Hasbro or something? I don't get what his connection to D&D is and why he's such a big name. Creating a new game in a super saturated and competitive environment is kind of a risk investors like. Yeah. I feel like every market is saturated now, or oversaturated, because everybody has access to do it, which is cool. But it does make for a very noisy field. It's hard to break into or gain any traction. Game designers who wanted to make videos for people to learn how to DM. Oh, game designer who wanted to make videos to learn how to DM. Then that got popular and he could leverage it to design for himself instead of another. Okay. So that's all it was. Just drew the lucky card. Ori had a lot going for it, but is very dramatically different and focused heavily on minis and maps. Very clearly video game inspired. A lot of people got into that, bounced off of third. Stuck on the same as still small and rose to the top. Worked for Turtle Rock Studios as a writer. Oh, okay. We have Daggerheart now and many other cool games like Vagabond and stuff. Yep. Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like, if this is in response to what I was saying earlier, it's like just about anybody can pick up a pencil and start designing their own TTRPG, and they don't need a publisher. Like, you can half bake your system and it not even work at all, and it's just crappy as can be, but you could still go to DriveThruRPG and publish it, and people can pay you money for it, and they'll even print a book. They do print to order, and that's super cool that we have that level of access. But that level of access creates a very noisy, very muddy field to play in. So, when you put a lot of blood, work, sweat, and tears into your project and you push it out there, people are like, okay, what's the difference between yours and the 5 million others, right? So that's the downside. But having lived in a world where that wasn't an option, I will take the new option where we have to wade through heaps of garbage. Because I think it's better. Because it's just digital garbage, right? So it's fine. Luck and a lot of work to make it approachable for others. He wrote a lot of 5e content too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The words of Shia LaBeouf. What are you waiting for? Do it. Traquitos. That name sounds familiar. Well, guys and gals, I know, I am very hungry. I am going to get off of here. We're at 2 hours. I was going to get off like 40 minutes ago, but then we got to chatting, which is fine. That's my favorite part of the streams. The work is just an excuse to be here. You make good things immediately. Piles of garbage are inevitable. Yeah. Or you cannot make good things immediately. Yep. Like I said, having come up in a world where that access was not a thing and there were so many gatekeepers, I am all about the... Wait a minute, he's the floating eyeball, isn't he? Like the middle guy with the eye in the center. Isn't that him? I've been in games with him. That's okay. That's who that guy is. But yeah, I prefer the gates open. Just let people submit their stuff, and you know, it does have annoying things, but it's nice that people can just go make stuff and put it out there. It does make for a wild marketing scene, but yeah, that's him. Okay, yeah. I thought that sounded familiar. Yeah, I did the robot master design. You dig the robot? Yeah, man. I like it. It's fun. And there's plenty of Mega Man games to work through. I don't know if we'll do all of them, but maybe we'll poke some other bosses in other games and whatnot, see what we can do. But it's fun. And like I said, hopefully I can export these just to a little handout. Here's, you know, give you some ideas to run in your own games. But we will see. So I'm going to go eat. I will see y'all. When will I see you? My schedule's a little iffy the next few days because I got some things to take care of. So we'll see. I might try and get on here Saturday. We'll see. Or Friday. We'll see. If I don't, next Thursday will be the video release. So cream of the crop rises to the top. Yep. All right. So if I don't see you this weekend or something, I will see y'all Thursday in the next video, which will be right around Valentine's Day. It's gonna be a doozy. So, see y'all later.